What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we are going to be talking to Mr. Barney Smith from I lost my face.
Not from the Flintstones, not Barney from the
Flintstones. We're not
Flintstones.
talking to Barney from. We're gonna be talking to Mr. Barney Smith from Story Comic. Check him out, and we're gonna be talking a little topic for today. We're gonna be talking mainstream. We're gonna be talking indies. We're gonna be talking.
Yes, let's give him something to talk about. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the Dreamer, Medina, and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. It is Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. here in the East Coast, and we're coming to you live. We have tonight on the show. We have a lot to talk about. Oh, Lou, we got to talk about Lou. We have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, mucho.
Because as many of you know, today is the last day of the contest for There's an Alien in My Toilet.
Word.
So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking to the critically, internationally acclaimed Mr. Barney Smith. And if you don't know who Barney Smith is, you definitely have to sign up or subscribe to his channel, Story Comic, where he talks to indies like ourselves. So check him out. We're going to be talking to him about his book that he's got coming out on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be talking, we're going to do a little topic today in regards to comics. And I call it the decline of mainstream and how we can capitalize from it. So we're going to be talking about that. The soundtrack. What up, Daft? So if you haven't done so yet and you're watching, hit the like button. If you're watching, hit the like button. And also subscribe to the channel. Comment, do all that fun stuff on the replays. Make sure you throw some comments in there if you're watching this on a replay and stuff like that. Share the video so that people know that we're here. And brother. So we're back. We are back live.
Word.
I'm excited tonight. We're gonna have a very good guest. He's a great dude, and we're gonna be talking about comics. So what's up? What you got going on, Sam? Talk to me.
Oh, well, I'm back from the book signing at the grand opening of Collected Comics, and that was fantastic. What's up, Handy the Sock?
Handy the Sock.
It was fantastic. And shout out to Bleeding Cool. They featured it on their website, the grand opening, and they gave a shout out to your boy here. So that was pretty dope. I was like, oh, look at that. So that was pretty cool. It was cool. You know what? I got to connect with a bunch of convention promoters that were there. So some other shows that I'll be working on lining up, and also with fellow indies, hooked up with a bunch of local artists, and they're giving me the skinny and the lowdown on, how to navigate here in Texas and all the other events that you don't find on that website, Comic Cons, but that are like art festivals and all that stuff that they're putting me onto. So that was pretty cool. Just the networking part of it. The mall itself was hot and sticky. It was like, it was gross. But a fun thing was like two different comic fans that picked up the first two issues a year ago at other conventions, came back and picked up the graphic novel. So that was pretty awesome. And I was like, hey, how come you didn't go to the website? They're like, we knew that we are going to run into you in one of these shows, so we'd rather get it from you directly. I was like, oh, that was awesome. So that was cool. That was happening. Then I got in the mail number 2 of Kid in a Comic newspaper, the second edition, which is dope. And I didn't know that they were going to publish the How to Draw Duty in this segment. I thought it was going to be in issue 3. But it's in issue number 2, which is pretty dope, on top of the comic strips in there. So again, if you go to kidinacomic.com or kidinacomic.com, you can get your subscription on 7 papers a year, or contact your local comic store, because they're doing some big things and really good things coming down the pike with a Kid in a Comic, news to come. But that was pretty dope. And now I'm just getting ready for the next convention. So the next one is College Station Comic Con, which is in September 9th and 10th. And then after that, the Arlington Comic Fest. And then in December, heading out to Houston for a one-day show. It's a Comic Indie, which is an indie Comic Con.
You always take those down too fast, bro. Keep them up.
Keep them up.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't read. Sorry.
I'm slow, bro. I'm
yes,
slow.
I know.
I gotta take it in. I was gonna ask you about the College Station one. That one is the same weekend as Baltimore, but is that like where is it? Where is College Station Comic Con?
College Station Comic Con is hold on. I forgot what it was.
It's so funny how Texas is so like when I think of College Station, I think of like football, and they're like so into football, bro. Like Texas is bananas with that stuff.
It's in Bryan, Texas. It's a 2-day show, and it's at the Brazos County Expo Complex in Bryan, Texas. And where the hell is Bryan, Texas? I know I booked it. I don't even know where I'm going. Let's see. Where's Bryan?
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, man. You know how I am. I don't know if I gotta freaking book a hotel. What am I doing? This is what happens. This is what I do. But it's a big event.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, it sounds pretty big. I mean, College Station Comic Con. Like,
yes,
it's interesting. See what that's like.
Yeah, I'll be staying at a hotel. It's a 3-hour drive. So I'll be at a hotel. I forgot all about that. No, because I'm not driving 3 hours each way. So so College Station Comic Con, I'll be there. It's pretty dope. I'm excited about that. And then after that is Arlington in October, and then Comic Indie in December.
Yeah,
I'm slow too.
Right, Handy. That's what I'm saying. We gotta leave those up for the date so that we can check them out. But that's cool, man. That's cool. Sounds like a pretty full schedule into the fall, and then obviously October. What is it, October 2nd or October 3rd? You're launching.
October 2nd is the Kickstarter. That's right. For There's in my toilet.
See, that's on that graphic too. It's at the end.
Yes, at the end. So yes, book number 6, Peekaboo, I see you. So that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really having fun with drawing this one. That launches October 2nd. So I'm excited about that. So just a lot of things working on the back end. Excited about the art contest. The art contest is popping.
Woo!
Popping. So shout out. We
have to talk about the art contest, dude.
We got to say yes. It is. It is on a whole nother level. I got hit up just now on Twitter by somebody saying, "Hey, can I submit it on Twitter? I don't know how to navigate your website." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Just send it." And I was like, "Yeah, but let's show some of these images of these."
It's gonna be tough. I feel bad for you, bro. You have
it's
a very
be
tough decision to make.
Yes,
when it comes to picking the winner.
Yes. So here it is. So this one is by Didia. So there's Duty in the Toilet by Didia. I'm hoping to say that. Hey, what's up, Aurelius in the house?
Arelis.
So that one's by Didia, and then this one is by Dan Barlow.
Nice.
Wild West.
Very
and we
nice.
rolled into the Wild West. And then here's one by Dwayne Doherty. And so there's Duty Hold On, Return to Uranusville. And here's another one by Dan Barlow. He did 2. He did like Enter the Dragon, Enter the Duty. And so there's a nice collage going on there.
You know what? I appreciate the fact that people are like titling their stuff. You know what I mean? It's very, very well done.
Pretty sweet. Then there's here's another one by Dwayne, Runaway. There's a cat in the background. And then this one is by Stephen Russell. And this is like a ode to Star Wars and Duty, so it's pretty cool. And then here's one by Jason Sooks. I think that's some, which is pretty cool. I like the Herman inside the UFO. I thought that whole collage was pretty sweet. Yeah. And then this one is by Adriana Kidd, Doki, God of Mischief.
Burdened with glorious purpose.
There you go, glorious purpose. I love the words. And then this one is straight out of a fashion magazine. This one is by Void. By Void, you know, dude is almost like, you know, Rockaware or Fubu. I mean, dude, he's like getting his fashion on. And then this one, I think Lou took me and Duty and did a mashup because this right here.
That's Sam in the morning right there. That's Sam in the morning right before he goes get his coffee.
I think she just mashed us up. You know, I was like, wait, hold on. There's my robe.
That's awesome, dude. That is freaking awesome.
That is crazy right there. And then we got one by Victor Claudio right here. And I mean his color pencil skills are like legit, bro.
Yeah, good stuff.
You know,
really,
so yeah, so that's it. It's pretty exciting to see. You know, thank you everybody who submitted. We will the announcement will Void. Was it Void on the Run? Is my favorite.
That one looks really, really cool. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be making the announcement here on Cast Craze next week. And so you have till
tell them what they'll win, Sam.
Oh, what do you know? No, that's from the movie with Jeff Bridges. Yeah, that's right. I knew it. Yes.
What do you mean, the dude?
No, the look. There was a movie. Yeah, there's a dude, poster or a scene with Jeff Bridges. Do whatever, duty, but make him fashion. So yeah. So the winner gets $100 plus 4 commercials on Cast Craze on 4 different episodes. It's 30-second commercial. You create the commercial, you send it to us with video, audio, or text if you want us to read it, and you get a 1-hour interview on Cast Craze, and you get featured in the book and on the website. So your mugshot, the image, and a bio about you in issue number 6. So it's pretty exciting. So you know, the money's going to be sent straight through PayPal. Bang, gone. And so yeah, it's exciting. So I'm really, really stoked about this, and I'm glad that. And again, you know, Redis, you know, I mean, Lou, thank you for the kind words on social media. But I'm really excited that everybody had fun doing this. I mean, I had fun just seeing it. I mean, all the variations of duty and what people conjured.
That's from the Big Lebowski. That's where that's
Lebowski. There you go.
Big Lebowski, the dude. But yeah, no, that looks awesome. That looks awesome, man. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, we'll be deliberating on the back end.
Yeah, no, it'll be an interesting.
Yeah.
Winners announced next week.
Yes, and there are no losers because everybody will also get featured in the book. In issue 6, it just won't be as prominent as the winner, and you'll also be interviewed on Cast Craze, and you'll also be featured on the website. So, so there are no losers, but you know, there's only one grand prize.
Yeah, big $100. Benjamin, good stuff, man.
Oh no, you give me goosebumps. You give me goosebumps.
Easy, Sam.
I was like, yo, Duty, that's my boy. Yo, Duty, did you hear that?
You give me goosebumps. Yo. That's cute. All right, well, listen. Good shot.
Did he just call me cute?
That was adorable, bro. You giving me goosebumps. Oh, no, man, that's dope. Hey, listen, this is a good, a fun time to be a fan of Duty. So make sure you bring you send those in. Hey, you got till midnight tonight.
Yeah.
So and that's midnight in Sam's time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's still 1 o'clock. So you can technically be sending stuff in at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, get to it. As far as I'm concerned, I will be at Plastic City Comic Con this weekend, Saturday. It's a 1-day show.
That's right.
And that show is run by Keith Gleason, who has a book called The Mighty Mascots. He also has a show on YouTube called Indie Comics Relay.
Yes.
He does the show with Johnny C. And Plastic City Comic Con is going down this weekend. It's a 1-day show. I'm going to take the drive out there with Mr. Jonathan Syfax. We're going to hit the road, check it out. It's happening in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is $10. Kids 12 and under go in for free, and there is free parking on the in the area. So check out Plastic City Comic Con this weekend, Saturday. I'll be walking around checking it out. May do that one next year. Let's see how it goes. But Saturday, August 19th, I'll be there. And next week, on the 23rd, the release of issue number 3 of Russ 5377 on the Anyone World platform. Russ 5377 number 3. So issue number 3 will be out next week. That is on the 23rd of August. I'm doing them every month. So make sure you go to anyoneworld.com, pick up issues 1 and 2. Issue 3 comes out next week. What else is going on, Sam? Also, on September 8th, 9th, and 10th is the Baltimore Comic Con. I will be walking the floor, yes, with Mr. Syfax again. We're going to be checking it out. Daphne, I see you're in the chat. She will be there. She will be at the show, so make sure you stop by and check out her booth. It's the return, because you haven't done a show in a while from what I remember. So that's going to be dope. It's going to be nice to see her. I'm going to see a bunch of people out there that normally do the shows. James DeSantis, who is the who publishes the Adventures of Wonder Duck through Darkfire Press, is going to be there. So it's going to be a good show, man. It's going to be fun. Yeah, may do that one next year too. So we shall see. But yeah, man, it's got all that stuff is going down. Plus, check out ASAPimagination.com. I have a book coming out through them that they asked me to write, Dead of Night. So that's coming out. That'll be out soon. And what else is going on, Sam?
How's that anthology going on with ASAP?
He's gathering the artists. That takes time.
Yeah.
The art always takes longer. We had 10 days to write those things, but it's going to take a little longer for the
artists. Well, yeah, and then and some of these writers went all in.
Some of these pages,
are
very complex.
H28 across from food. Bring me my fries. Wow. That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Fries from where, Daph? Where do you like your fries from? Do you like the McDonald's fries? Do you like the just your regular diner fries?
Chick-fil-A waffle fries, bro.
Waffle fries.
They're no Wendy's joke. I'm not.
Chick-fil-A got good chicken, but it depends where you get it from. I feel like your chicken's probably better than the one up here, because when I went down to Virginia, that was the best. Do you
remember that episode of The Real Ghostbusters with the chickens?
No.
And the guy who hated, he was tired of chickens, so he created a machine to ship the chickens to another universe. I hate chickens. And he went crazy, and he transferred all the chickens to another universe.
That's you?
No, I love chicken.
No, I love chicken.
I had chicken fried steak today, man.
This kid is nice and full right now. Bring me some fries. Anyway, why don't we get to business, Sam? Because we got a topic coming up.
Taking care of business.
And we also have Barney coming up. I don't know if he's back there yet, but
there's not that yet. So
let's do a little.
It's time for your medicine.
Why and how are mainstream comics in a decline? Should indie comics capitalize on it?
Capitalize, of course. I mean, the answer is obviously yes, right? We should capitalize. Now, why are mainstream comics in a decline, right? That's the first question. Why? Now, some people may say, are they though? Are they really in a decline? Are mainstream comics really declining in sales? Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say yes. Yep. I've spoken to quite a few comic book shop owners, and they all say the same thing.
Yep.
New comics aren't selling as much as they used to. What is selling are the back issues. People are going back into the back issues.
They get into crates.
Back issues. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with collectors. People are collecting a lot of these key issues, and they're trying to flip them for money.
Yep.
So there's a lot of that going on. So what it may seem like they're buying a lot of comics, they're buying old comics, the new comics, the mainstream new stuff that's out. I don't think it's selling as well as it used to. You know what I
And
mean?
Mr. Lombardi, one comic shop owner, he says the issue with some of the marketing strategies employed by Marvel and DC for the new comic. He notes that most recent Avengers main titles were not selling. I
saw that, dude.
But instead they're trying to fix the problem with main titles. He knows Marvel came out with so many spin-offs, people are confused. Avengers Beyond, Avengers War Across Time, Avengers All Out War, Avengers Forever.
Right.
So and then some of the death ofs didn't have an impact that they thought it was going to have.
Right.
Like they did back, like Mrs. Marvel and Amazing Spider-Man, they weren't a big deal. And so, and I think a lot of it is because they're looking for shock value and they're looking just for gimmicks, and they're not really focusing on what made them great, which was telling great stories. Yeah. And keeping the timelines consistent. What's up? You know, and keeping the timelines consistent, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, I still collect, like, I love Spider-Man. And I think that Spider-Man, and what I was talking to one of these comic shop owners, he said, Spider-Man is what's keeping Marvel alive, and Batman keeps DC alive.
Yeah.
But put out a Batman title, something that has to do with Batman, and people are buying it up. Put something that has to do with Spidey, and people are buying it up. And I still collect, you know, Spider-Man and stuff like that. And the problem with comics too, and I think it's in that article that you were reading, is that there are too many numbers. There are a lot of number ones. They restart with number one, volume whatever, number one. You know how hard it is to collect the back issue on Amazing Spider-Man right now, because they have 6 volumes of that thing, and every single volume starts from number one. So I got to open up the book and look at the date to find out when it was published to know which volume I'm in.
Yeah, he says the comic shop owner also admitted that customers are finally rejecting the idea of picking up a new series when DC and Marvel decide to renumber books. Right? They get because now they know what it is. It's a gimmick. It's a ploy. And I think people just want good stories. You know, people want good stories. They want to you know, they want to connect with the characters they fell in love with. And sometimes, you know, these writers that are, they're getting their marching orders from, you know, the bureaucrats, and they're saying, you know, write this way, and you're changing the whole DNA of a character that you fell in love with, and you don't recognize them anymore. Yeah. Right. So it's like you're playing with, how do you play with, you know, your flagship titles? And it's sad because you said something, you said, you know, Batman is the breadwinner over there. Why? Because they can't tell a legitimate Superman story because they keep remaking, right? And revisiting the same old timelines. So what happens, what's great about Batman is that, you know, you can tell so many different, you know, it became really dark, right? And again, and fans love that aspect of it. Too much so I think the last Batman movie was too dark for me. I was like, yo, I didn't even recognize it. It was 7.
Like, it was 7.
It was like, yeah, it was 7.
Batman.
I was like, all right.
Say, what's in the box? What's in the box?
They went right off the cliff, and I was like, I'm not going with you off the cliff. I said, yeah. I was like, all right, see you downstairs. I'll take the other way around. Let's see. He says, Marvel, the past few years, a lot of series around issue 12, and then bring the book back a few months later on the issue. Yeah, same book. Yeah, and you know, and people recognize that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I think it's
there's no rhyme or reason for it either. I'm like, what's the, like, now what Marvel's doing? They're putting like underneath the number, like it's number 30 right now. It's like legacy number. They call them legacy numbers. Legacy number 913 or whatever. So that now you know. And I'm thinking, why not just keep it? Just call it number 913, bro. Like, I don't understand. Why are we going back to number 1? So I think a lot of that has done with it. The collector's market, obviously, I think it's lost its audience because of it. I also think that the pricing has done a lot of damage to, you know, comics used to cost a lot less, bro. They're very expensive now. Yeah, and that's got something to do with it. Manga, obviously, kids are buying manga. They're not buying comics as much. Video games, you know what I'm saying? Kids are playing video games and not reading comics. So there's a lot of things, man. There are a lot of things that I think are contributing to that decline. And people may say, well, it's not really a decline. Like, yeah, it is. I don't think people are buying comics the way they used to. You know, like you used to go. Tell me how many times have you been to a comic book shop in the last, other than for book signings?
Dude, I can tell you right now, the last 2 book signings, right? So the book signing I went to, Collected Comics, shout out. It's a smaller store. It's a small footprint. But when I went in there, I got nostalgic. I was like, damn, it's been a minute. Right? So I filmed the next video from that event is probably up this Sunday, the whole behind the scenes stuff. But you know, I walked in there and I was like, wow, right? And but you know, Marvel and DC adorned the walls, right? You know, they dominated all of it, you know, and but even with that grand opening, it didn't have lines down the block, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's a different era.
Yeah. No, it truly is, man. It's how I feel like Netflix. Why bother
watching anything you get hooked on?
to cancel it.
Yeah.
After the first or second season. Yeah.
They don't even give it a shot. Netflix doesn't even give you a shot. You know, people fall in love with something and then they just shut it down. I'm like, yo, you sons of biscuit eaters, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
You know,
I think to them, everything has to do Stranger Things numbers or better, or else it gets canceled. Like if it's not doing those kind of numbers, they don't even want to deal with the series. And there's so much on that platform to watch. Like there's so much on that platform to watch. But I feel like that says, once you fall in love with something, boom, next thing is gone. It's over. They're not really trying to do anything with it.
At $4.99 a book from the big publishers and a lot of people buying 10 plus titles a month, it adds up. Yeah. And people dip out because of it. Yeah. I mean, it's changed dramatically. I mean, everything went up. I mean, it's that's why it's like, what it says, no one understands. Hey, what's up, John? No one understands how to build audiences. That's another thing. There's no patience, right? Remember the time where you knew that you were investing in the long game, right? That you want to build a story and build an audience and have an audience grow with you. And I think right now, because, hey, what's up,
Michael?
You know, it's run by the corporations, and the corporations want fast turnarounds. And there's no patience. If it's not working, drop it, move on to the next. Drop it, move on to the next. You know, it's funny because I was thinking about it too. It's just like it's like a factory. They're just putting out product. No rhyme or reason. You know, we're back in the days, we used to love those stories. Executions of Song, you know, all these things, you know, Punisher War Journal. You know, we were looking forward to some of these things. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the next one, right? And I mean, where's that rush?
Yeah. A lot of it too is the messaging, right? They're throwing in messaging and stuff like that, and you know, they're going away. Yo, what up? Oh, Bezos sells graphic novels cheaper than comic book shops. Damn, son.
He sells everything cheaper than comic
books. No, it's true. Amazon. Go to Amazon. You get a lot of those things for a lot less than you would if you went into a comic book shop and bought one. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like I said, the messaging is also something that people don't want to hear. Like they don't want to be told how to live or what to do in a comic book. They read comic books to escape, right? They don't want to be reminded of all the crap that's going on, but it's there sometimes in those comics. And
keep it out.
That's the last place you want to see those.
Keep it out. You know, like, don't bring any of that.
You want to see that. Yeah.
That's what hurt Buzz Lightyear. Lightyear the movie, right? I mean, when everyone's trying to be politically correct, stop. Just tell a good story, bro. Just, you know, it's like, don't change up the character because the time has changed. Right. Keep the character pure. Keep the DNA pure.
Yeah. Talk about how he reacts to the changes that are happening in the world that he's in. Don't change him, like, or her. You know what I mean? Like, just, you know, make him react. You won't let people into the murder.
Oh, and then when they do let you in the merch account, they don't even let you use your own links to direct traffic back to your own website. That's some crazy stuff.
Or your stuff gets bootlegged.
Yes, or like mine. My stuff is bootlegged all around the world.
Let me tell you something, Sam. This is what you got to think like. You got to think like this. If your stuff got bootlegged, it's popular, bro. It's worthy of a bootleg. If it got bootlegged, then it was worthy of being bootlegged, bro.
George.
Or creating your character.
You.
Well, that's the other point that we were saying.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, you will be popular. You're going to be popular.
Listen, we're gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna have to do a part two of this Get Your Meds segment, because we do have Barney coming in, Sam singing songs, and this is like a hot topic, right? Which is why it would be kind of cool to talk about, because why are they declining? And now, the other part of that, DBZ Abridged is almost as popular as DBZ itself. But see, that's the other thing, right? Manga, bro. Manga is big time. But we're going to have to talk about how we can capitalize, I think, in another edition.
Yes, a part two next week.
We'll do a part two. Yes. We'll do a part two. We'll talk a little bit more about this. We'll talk about how we can use
this is a fun topic.
The perils, right? Yes. Now, this could be like an hour show. We can, you know, if there's no guest next week, we just go right into it. But we do have Barney waiting. He has thoughts about this as well.
We got data jokes.
We're going to talk to him about some of that data jokes. Yes. If you follow him on Facebook, he's hilarious.
Yes.
But we'll have him coming up in just a few. But why don't we do that now?
We're doing it now. Stop acting up.
Do it.
Drum roll, please. Presenting the hilarious,
the internationally acclaimed,
yes, Mr. Giggles himself, Barney Smith. What's up? What's up, Dadder?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Oh, hey, I was just here at my comic book shop reading my newest book.
What's up, Barney? How you doing, man?
How you doing? It's so great because you guys were on my show, so it's great
Yes.
that I was able to share and get, to get reciprocate. This is great. Yeah,
this is awesome. I'm telling you, you're the internationally acclaimed, Barney Smith. Hey, for those who don't know, you got to check out Story Comic. He introduced. Listen, Barney. I thought I was special when he introduced me like that one time, and then I saw Sam's interview. Then I saw a couple other people's interviews, and I'm like, wait, they're all international acclaimed. This is ridiculous.
So I forgot. So what happened was I actually read your intro, and then I'm like, well, I'm already into it now because the two of you are internationally acclaimed. And I forgot that, and I had to go with it, so I had to like stumble over.
I got you. For those watching, make sure you subscribe to Barney's channel, Story Comic. He talks to other independent artists like we do here, spread the word of the independence. And now he's on our show. So thank you so much for coming on. It's wonderful to be talking to you live on our show and talking to you about your book, stuff that you have coming out on Kickstarter, coming soon. But you do have the first part of that book, and that's what you had in your hands. Dad jokes.
Yes. So I do have my first book, Dad Jokes. I'm actually doing a Kickstarter. I thought I was going to do it today, but I forgot to hit the launch button. And so what I'm doing is that I have a new dad joke coming. The book is coming. It's called Dadder Jokes, and it is a collection of all the scouring through the internet and through the libraries and finding jokes that are actually going to be, enough to make you groan and chuckle. So there's a couple things about this book that's different than you can go to a bookstore and buy a book on dad jokes.
Sure.
What makes mine special, other than the fact that I'm on your show to talk about it.
Yes.
Is that so first of all, it's the only fully colored book that's dad jokes, because I do like I say, I make comic books, make cartoons. So all of these pictures in here are fully illustrated. It's the only full colored dad joke book. Nice. And I have on here all kinds of, so I got my mic right here. As you guys can see, I have a microphone right. Where is it? All right. Of course, Daphne is going to be. Daphne's a friend of the show. She's been on my show like 5 times. And so this book here actually has it's being very specific on the sense that I wanted to make sure that everything about the book is actually has little illustrations that are dad-ish things to do. Gotcha. So, but you know what? I have 2 daughters, and we always have a rule here. There's no such thing as gender-specific chores in the house. So, in here we got, washing dishes, because dads wash dishes, dads sweep, dads go to the bathroom. So the toilet one seems to be the more popular picture.
Okay.
And the other thing about this book that's actually unique as well is that I wanted to make sure that I made a book, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to put books together that actually that the jokes were safe for everyone. So you might buy a dad joke book, you might buy a joke book, and then all of a sudden you find a joke that's a little bit misogynistic or a little bit racist or a little bit that might make fun of somebody's intelligence, all that stuff. So these jokes are pure corn, pure good. My daughter, who is 6 years old, can take the book to first grade and not get in trouble. My younger brother, well, he's younger, but he's still older. And not that, meaning that he's an old guy too. Because he's like 42. He works at a stone quarry. He takes my first book. He has my first book with him at there. He'll read these jokes in front of grumpy old sweaty construction guys, and they laugh at it.
Right.
My mother's a minister, and she has this book at church, and it's completely safe to read to almost anyone. So
how many
that's
pages
one of the things. It is the book. Oh, the book. It is the book itself is 140 pages wide. Wow. Over 500 jokes in here. And this is the other cool thing about this book, is that what I'm able to do is, not only is it completely safe to read everywhere, I was also able to, there's a few jokes that I kind of invented. About 5% of them are pure and this is so fun when I actually run into one of these jokes that I actually in the wild, and I'm able to say, I made up that joke. There's one of them is I was taking my daughter to school one day, and we saw, being in Vermont, we actually saw a deer cross the road. And then I came back home and I told my wife, I said, I saw a deer on the way to school. And she looked at me completely serious because she's from Nigeria. She actually looked at, she goes, how do you know it was going to school? And I looked at him like, that is actually really funny. Like, I'm going to put that down.
That's great.
The other, so you can find that in the wild, but you cannot find it pre-2020 because that joke, that's all something.
That's all you.
Yes.
That's all. Now, let me ask you this, Barney. When you're surfing the web or wherever you're finding these jokes, how do you know you're able to use them in the book? In other words, are there any, like, when it comes to jokes, is there like a copyright for jokes? Like,
no.
How do you know? Huh?
I actually did. I actually talked to my lawyer friend about it. Some of these jokes, because they don't belong to specific IPs. But if there's one that's actually really popular that you know who it came from, that's why you never see any of my jokes that are like Steve Wright jokes or Mitch Hedberg jokes that are actually part of, say, a quote unquote IP. But the one I posted today is, if a pig loses its voice, does it become disgruntled? Like, that doesn't belong to anyone. So it's like, it's collecting those. And I'm able to, what I love about this too, is that I give credit to the point too, is like, there's some jokes that I've been able to resurface. I'm able to find, because I love listening, and you guys know this too. I think I probably told you when you were on my show, when I always banter, pre-show stuff. I love listening to old time radio programs, like the old Jack Benny, the old Abbott and Costello, the old Gracie, Burns and Allen stuff.
Yeah.
What I've been able to do is actually find old jokes in there that actually, that were told by, like, Charlie McCarthy. He's the one that was like the ventriloquist doll. He actually had a joke that I was able to brush off and kind of turn towards modern audiences. The one thing that's always safe to make fun of in any of these books is actually making fun of the dad in that situation. Right. So that's always easy to do. Right. It's a dad joke book. So making the dad the brunt of the joke is okay. So like, for instance, and being, self-depreciating humor is always safe, because you let people laugh at you, but they're laughing with you because you made the joke. So one joke I actually brought back from the 1940s was this joke from Charlie McCarthy. So I twisted it up and made it about me and my wife. So basically the joke goes, I told my wife when I was in my 20s I was unbelievably handsome. She responded, "You're right, I don't believe it." So
I saw that you posted that one on your Facebook today also. Yes, you crack me up with these things. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I'll be scrolling on Facebook and one of your jokes will come up and I'll read it and I'll be like, that's really funny. Like, it's just like one of those, it's a typical dad joke. It really is a dad joke is what it is.
Right.
But now, why did you write this book? What made you write the first one? Obviously dadder jokes is coming up, but why did you write this one?
So yeah, good question, George. See, you guys been doing this for a while. You're at episode 516. See, I gotta catch up one of these days. So basically, if it seems like a lifetime ago, but if I want everybody to just that doodle, just remember back in 2020. Back in 2020, when the whole world was on fire. So we had the George Floyd murder. We had COVID. We had the election season. It was a raw place. You can actually, nowadays, you can go out and look to get into a fight. But in 2020, in that time, you could stumble into a fight and not even realize it. Like, people were vicious to each other. Right. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that my own little corner of the internet was safe. So that's where I actually started doubling down, because I'd always post a dad joke maybe once every couple of weeks pre-2020. But this was the point where I actually took it upon myself to say, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I'm I'm making a safe place for everybody. So that's what I did. So I took out, even to the point where I would people would literally, in 2020, I would post a completely random joke about a snail, and then someone would twist it to make it into a joke about COVID or something about the election. I would so people really wanted to get on a soapbox someplace. So I just wanted to make sure that at least thinking about the internet as a place that people get information is like, instead of making that all the editorial pages of a newspaper, that at least I wanted to have a place where there was the funny pages. So I always wanted to make sure that it was making sure that it was the safest, making it a safe place. So that's what I did. And then it was to the point where somebody, and a year and a half later, I had over 500 jokes. And I'm like, you know what? I've done publishing. Like I've had like 3 or 4 graphic novels out since then. So I know how to go around and actually publish books. So I actually then sat down and actually created, full color illustrations. And I was able to put the joke book out, put dad joke book out last year. And it's amazing how quickly 500 days go by, because all of a sudden I had 500 more jokes that I was ready to do. So that's where I'm at. So I'm here. I got the Dadder Jokes book is out. So the cool thing about Dadder Joke books is that I also have, I was able to connect with a few of my illustrator friends. I apologize I didn't reach out to you guys, but I'll get you guys on the Daddest Jokes books. You Daphne. See, yeah. So what I did have is a few artists that were internationally acclaimed illustrators. I have Mark Gagne, who's a published children's book author. And he does his own illustrations as well. So he did a variant cover for me for issue 1, the first dad joke book. So I have variant covers of the first dad joke book, and they have variant covers for Dadder Jokes as well. And I have him. I have Brian Ballinger, who's also an award-winning children's book illustrator and author. And he did a book about animal farts. And the it's a really funny book. It's called Animal Gas. And I had on there also Dirk Stanley, who he's an independent role-playing game designer. He's made over 20 role-playing games. So he has a very unique style, almost looks like Adventure Time stuff. So he actually also did some covers as that as well. So
sweet. Now let me ask you this, Barney, because obviously we've been on your show, and for those who are watching, we're talking to Barney Smith. He's got a book coming out on Kickstarter. If you look at our show notes, the link is in the show notes. I'm sure Sam will put them on the chat also for you guys to sign up, because he's launching this book very, very soon, maybe tomorrow, today, we don't know, but yeah, there it is. My question to you, Barney, is I didn't know that you were in publishing. Like, what did you do? You said you had a couple of graphic novels. Like, are you an artist? Like, tell us a little bit about that. Part of your life.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So when I started doing my show, I listened to the famed Terry Gross of Fresh Air. I learned how to do interviewing through like listening to how she does it. And the first thing you do is when you're doing a show, I don't talk about myself, because people aren't here to hear about myself on my show. They want to hear about my guests.
Correct.
So that's why I was always making very clear that I always wanted to make sure that I only talk about the stuff about my guests. After the fact, off air, then I'll humble brag about all my, the fact that I learned how to fold a fitted sheet. So that was something I'm being very proud about.
Well, listen, let me say this, and I think Sam will agree. I had a great time on your show because you did make it about the person you're interviewing. Like you never, you know what I mean? Your style of interview is that it makes the person you're interviewing like they are the center of that world at that moment, and we're just talking about me. And it's like, who doesn't like to talk about themselves, right? So everybody, so that is, and I'm telling you, I had a great time on your show.
George was smitten when he came out. He was like, dude, "Oh, Barney's so dreamy."
I was like, well, I had the biggest crush. I mean, hey, listen, I'll say it. All right, I had a crush on Barney Smith. I was like, I love you, you love me. But Barney, tell us about your your background in art. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I'll give you for those that don't know. So basically, I have. I've had pretty much everybody that's in the chat has probably been on my show at least once as well. So it's like old home days here. It's like, this is your life. I remember all of you. So long story short, so basically it's like I got a degree in art, studio art. I was going to be a children's book illustrator. That was my dream. I was going to do it. I got a degree in art, and graduated in 1998. And what do you do with a degree in art in 1998? You join the Peace Corps. So I joined the Peace Corps, and I went to Niger, West Africa. So those that are watching the news now, it's not a good place to be right now, but it was. And I actually lived in Niger for about 4 years, and I actually made a graphic novel about my time in Niger called 2 Years, and had a blast. I made a 12-issue miniseries about my time there, and I published it. And and so what I was able to do was so after that, we had a great time, came back, and then I got a master's degree in international education because I still wanted to do work overseas. So I thought, you know what, I love the idea of teaching and training, and I love the idea of being international. So it turns out, so make sure you read your syllabus, folks, because it turned out international education wasn't about doing educational, curriculums overseas. A degree in international education allows you to go to university and be in charge of the study abroad programs. And I was thinking, I don't want to help rich kids go overseas. I want to help people that are on the countries doing non-traditional education stuff, which is really interesting because I can tell you a quick story is that it's amazing to think about, because I did a thing called, there was this flip chart. I was working with, I made this flip chart for folks that were an illiterate audience, and what you do is do beta reading in the way. So what I did is I did a flip chart, and I showed it to some village folks that didn't speak any language. They didn't know how to write. But at the end of the flip chart, I was a question mark. And one other lady raised her hand. I'm like, and this was the time I was been there for about 4 years, so I was fluent in the local language. So if anybody wants to go to Timbuktu, I can translate for you because I speak the same language as speak in Timbuktu. And the lady raised her hand, and I said, yeah, what is it? And she said, because it was a question mark. She goes, "Why is that snake laying an egg?" I'm like, what? You would think the question mark is something universal, but they had no idea what the question mark was. They thought it was a fish. They thought it was a snake laying an egg.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah. So it was that kind of level of understanding of so we always kind of take for granted about the symbols that we universally understand, but it's not a universal symbol. Exclamation points in some languages, or how you put them the other way up on the front. Yeah.
In Spanish, you'll have one in the front, one in the back, and the one in the front is upside down. The one at the end. Same thing with question marks. Question marks go at the beginning and at the end of the question when you're writing it. Yeah.
It's so it was me. So I did that, and then from there I spent. Then I went, after getting that master's degree, then I went back overseas and got a lot of, then chronologically speaking, I worked in Pakistan after the earthquake. I was in the Philippines for a year doing typhoon relief work. Then I was in South Sudan doing work with during their independence programs. Then I was in Zimbabwe during the cholera outbreak. Then I was in Uganda doing HIV clinic work. Then I was in Libya during the revolution, repairing ambulances and dodging machine gun fire.
Holy cow!
Yeah. Jeez. And then, so then after that, I was then my last year was Then I was in Doctors Without Borders. The last job I was with Doctors Without Borders was in Lagos, Nigeria, working in an urban maternity healthcare clinic. So that's where I met my wife. I like to laugh at the fact that I always watched 90 Day Fiance. I think it's hilarious, 90 Day Fiance, because my wife and I, we've been married for 11 years now almost. We dated for 30 days before we got married, because here's the thing. My wife is a Nigerian runway model. And I knew if we dated any longer, she'd find out how much of a goofball I was. And
she'd run away. She'd run away.
So yeah, you gotta grab. I married up. Oh yeah, big time.
Good for you, Barney.
Yeah, see, it's one of those things when people see us together, people look at her like, "What are you thinking? What is going on? Like, I don't understand." And we are really the stereotypical 90s sitcom of the beautiful mother with the overweight, goofy dad, and people are like, this makes no sense to me. Why you two are together? And I'm like, I know, right? Isn't that cool? I'm married. And yeah, so yeah, after that, I worked in nonprofit work, working with people with doing advocacy work with people living with intellectual disabilities, and as of recent, poorly kept secret because I had to be on the FCC website, I am now the proud owner of a terrestrial FM radio station. So that's my
That's right. Fantastic. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. Listen, where do we get that book? 2 years. Where do we get that? Is there a way to get that book?
You can get it. So you can, it's available on Amazon. I also did a book called Relief, which was my work overseas. So of working with people. So what I did is to make sure that, to make it translatable for people that don't know a Peace Corps experience, I have it take place on Mars. So really kind of getting that cultural. So it's kind of like a sci-fi thing a bit.
I like that.
And then I did a third graphic novel called Lion and Dove, which is about a lion married to a dove, and it's basically my ongoing series of being an intercultural marriage relationship. So that's awesome. It's about me and my wife. So,
but see, and we were talking about messaging and comics and things like that. That's the way to do it. You know what I mean? Where you take things like what you're talking about, like a lion and a dove, right? And you marry those two, and there's your interracial or animal, I guess, marriage, right? Yep. Where you kind of can dive into those kind of situations or those things that are going on. It's the reason why I like, movies like that when they did with Finding Nemo, for example, right? Talks about parenting and how sometimes you got to let your kids let them find their own way, and that's the only way they're going to grow. And that's the message in that movie, but you never saw it because it was so well woven into the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've sat down and watched Bluey. If you haven't watched Bluey, man, I man cry big time on that. I'm just like,
it's on Disney Plus. It's a show on Disney Plus called Bluey, and I'm like, why is everybody talking about this? But I've heard that it's a really, really good show. Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like when it's basically, how like you just kind of just cry at like the end of and you think of any of those inspirational movies like like a not Goodwill Hunting, but for like a Dead Poet Society, any of those things where people are like, so basically Bluey is 15-minute segments of Dead Poet Society where they just rip out your guts of emotional you're like, really, that is brilliant. Like it's the ones about just watching it's like mortality and like going from like a kid's perspective of just like perseverance and mortality and like it's I gotta check it out. It's amazing. It's amazing writing. And it's one of those things where like I guarantee children's book writers are just like, or anybody that watches it goes, I wish I could have written that because I know that feeling. Like it's one of those things where it's
agree.
Really good.
Now let me ask you this, Barney. Have you thought about then fulfilling your dream of being a children's book writer and actually writing a children's book?
I am to the point where I actually have books that I've written, and it's to the point. It's one of those things where, what do you have the time for? Because we only have so many minutes in the day, right, and we have to kind of decide what is important for us. So it's my piece is I want to make sure the stories are told. So because of that, I'm really looking at connecting with writers who are actually better at it than I am. Not saying like I'm a bad writer, but they're better writers. And the benefit of being hosting podcasts is like, I've met a deluge of amazing writers. I've met a deluge of amazing artists. And so my piece is to go to them, because I know how hard it is to find the time to do this stuff, and actually saying, can I pay you? Here's my idea. Can I pay you to write a script for me? And can you write because writing a children's book is way different than a comic book. It's way different than a long prose. And then finding people, and then I can tweak it from there. And I think of myself as more of like an executive producer than I think of myself as a writer, because I just don't have time anymore, but I have stories I want to tell. And it pains me when I have artists like, comic creators coming on and they're saying, I have this great story to tell and it is going to be 50 issues. I'm like, 50? You said 50, it's going to be 50. Yeah, it's going to be 50. I never say it online when I'm live, but afterward, I'm like, dude, you write a comic book once every 2 years. You're going to take you 100 years to do that. Can you just hire someone to tell? It's a really freaking good story. Have somebody tell that story for you. You just tell them what the story is going to be. Have them write it, and then hire somebody to, then hire an artist to do it for you. Because some people want to make the art themselves too. I'm like, you don't have time. No. Do you realize? And this is the thing. Us, we're all middle aged. I'm like, we're literally watching time go by, and the last thing you want to do is say to yourself, what's more important to you, make it yourself or make sure the story is told? Make that decision, because if you're thinking it's to make it yourself, then you need to figure out a way to get off Netflix and figure out a time to actually do that in time. Because there's so many hours in the day, and there's the best and worst thing about the democratization of being able to find literally thousands of stories at a whim, because we have that, is the fact that we're watching somebody else's dream already came true. So cut your time in half, or save your money and hire a writer to write it for you. You can edit it. You can make sure you're the executive producer. Think of yourself more as an executive producer. But I've had many conversations offline with people. I'm like, you're not going to finish your story. He's like, yes, I am. No, you're not. You literally don't have the time to do this.
This is the time. You're right. It's the time. You really don't have the time. But so Barney, before we run out of time here on the show, you did have thoughts.
Nice segue. Look at that.
I've been practicing. So let's talk a little bit about, we were talking about the topic, and you put it in the chat. You said, I have thoughts about this too. And I want to get your thoughts on what we were talking about earlier. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the decline. Or is that what you were referring to?
Yeah. So a couple of things. One, to be very clear, is that the comic book model that we grew up in the 80s and 90s does not exist anymore, because Marvel Comics and DC Comics are not independently run by Marvel Comics and DC Comics. They're part of AT&T and they're part of Disney. The money they make off of those comic books is a decimal rounding error. They do not care. The owners of those comic books do not care about those comic books. They allow people to tell the stories, and they use them as beta reader testing times to find a good story that they can turn into a video game, a movie, or anything else. That's what it's for. That's purely what it's for. And understanding that, and it gives the writers a lot of bit more freedom to tell a story that they want to, but the idea of thinking that they're making those things to be rich off of it. How many times have we heard a famous comic book artist or famous comic book writer from the 80s and 90s that actually has a GoFundMe page to get medical expenses, because they get paid really bad. And one other thought about that I wanted to share with all of you is, I did my research, and I love listening to these science podcasts about what happens. The reason why shows don't last long, where they actually cut them off altogether, that are on Netflix or Disney or HBO Max, those shows there, there's a business reason behind it, is they have to pay residuals. So there's 3 categories of shows that are on there. And I saw this in a science podcast, a business podcast. It says you have your masthead shows, like your Stranger Things, your things like that. Then you have your partner shows that are like, this is kind of like it. If you like Stranger Things, click on this. So it gives them those. And then there's those shows that are actually just basically just filler shows that have been around for years. So any shows that you see disappear after 2 months or a year is because it did not fit one of those 3 categories. So that's why old web Netflix shows, any of those older shows on there, stay on because they already paid out the residuals. They can keep them on. They're not spending money on those anymore. It's those shows that actually stay on that don't garner enough audience and they don't fit within a masthead. And those shows are ones that they say, we want to create a brand new masthead show like Umbrella Academy or Stranger Things. If they're unable to create a masthead show, they get rid of it. Or the shows that stick around are ones that are similar to Umbrella Academy or similar to Stranger Things. They'll keep those because they'll have people will watch that after they watch their other shows. But that's the reason why it's purely business. It's not based off of the numbers. It's just that we don't want to pay residuals to the creators and the actors. That's the reason why they get rid of them so quickly.
Yeah, interesting, man. Yeah, no, that's an awesome perspective on it because we often think about just they just it's creatively they don't want to do that, but it all boils down to the dollars and cents.
It is. It's those 3 categories. That has to be a brand new masthead show. It has to be a partner show to a masthead, or the other one, which is all the filler menu shows just to fill it up, and those they don't have to pay residuals on because they already paid them out. So.
Yeah. Awesome, man. See, that's it, man. That's why we had Barney on the show, man. We were talking about we talked about dad jokes. Oh, I wanted to ask you. So, when are you launching? And in that campaign, will we be able to get dad jokes? Is that going to
yes? So I learned from watching you two do your Kickstarter. See. So I have the variant covers. I do have to catch up. So I do have people who can buy the dad jokes books. The benefit about it too is that you can have exclusive variant covers from here, and plus you can also get them cheaper than you can get them on Amazon if you buy it through the Kickstarter. So yeah, awesome.
And when are you launching it?
I was supposed to launch today, man. We'll hit the button tomorrow morning. So
there you go.
I'm so new at this. I'm like, you know what? It's like it's already paid for because I already had it all. So it's the book's already made. It's already paid for. So it's just a matter of utilizing it also as a kind of a what other companies really use Kickstarter now for is as a almost like a pre-order situation.
Right. 30 days is the campaign. 30 days.
30 days. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, good, man. Listen, I'll be sharing it. I'll definitely be pledging to it because I definitely want to get the dad and the daddy jokes. Can't wait till Daddist comes out. Barney, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Dude, this has been amazing.
Yes.
We hope to have you back soon. If you want to come on, just let us know, and we'll
absolutely, yeah.
Mi casa, su casa.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
You got it, buddy.
Barney. Take care, man.
All right, so that's Barney Smith. Again, Data Jokes. See, we got 2 new signups to his landing page.
Awesome.
Thank you for signing up. So yeah, funny guy. Man, his story. You know, we gotta have him on the show just to talk about his past.
Just to talk about it, yeah.
Not comics. I want to talk about his world travel and all his experiences. That's what I'm interested in.
I love it, man. I love
that's fascinating. That's the stuff that excites me.
And this is what happens when you're a creative person, right? He goes and has these adventures, right, in these different places, and he chronicles them and puts them in a book and makes a book about it. Like that's what we do, right? Like that's just how it happens. And I'm glad that he took that opportunity and he used his skill and his passion for it and created what he created. And I can't wait. I'm definitely gonna have to go into Amazon and check out the stuff that he's got, because I'd love to check out 2 years and the other books that he mentioned.
It's fantastic. I mean,
that was awesome.
That's like an amazing background. I didn't even know that about him. That's pretty
but you know what? And that's testament to his show. It's about you when you go on the show. It's not about him. He doesn't say any of that. You won't find any of that information under. He'll never even interject and say, "Oh, I was over here. I heard about that." No, it's about you.
You leave Barney's show skipping and throwing tulips in the air.
I did.
It's like he loves me not.
Dude, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's an amazing interview, man. He's an amazing interview and an interviewer. So so definitely, if you haven't done so yet, check out Story Comic. So check out storycomic.com. Sign up to his newsletter, which I do and I get in my emails. Very, very good newsletter, very informative about what's going on in the show, what's happening. Yeah. He does a very good job with that. So check him out there. Make sure you sign up to his launch page, which he should be launching tomorrow, hopefully. Yep. Make sure you sign up so you can get dadder jokes. Who doesn't like to laugh at dad jokes? I mean, those things are funny. So
and then there might have been like nine of you out there if you're watching that try to book on Catch the Craze, but unfortunately Calendly opened up the entire calendar, which allowed people to book days that we don't actually record shows. So I sent cancellations with a note to rebook. If you got it, you weren't dismissed. Is that we just don't record on the days that were open by Calendly. So I closed those down and I only opened up the dates that we actually record. What's up, Almega in the house?
Almega, what's up, brother?
He's like a runway model, bro. He's putting all these damn profile pictures with the come hither eyes. I'm like, what's up with that, bro?
All right, Al, I see.
Yeah, I know. It's like, damn. It's like his face is airbrushed on screen. I'm like, what are you doing? But
it's AI Al.
Yes. But So if you got an email from Catch the Craze saying to rebook, please go ahead and do so. Ya tú sabes.
I can hear him say it too. It's hilarious.
It's funny. I met an artist. It's a true story. I met an artist, right? So there was a couple of women at the book signing. They kept staring at me and they were like, we're trying to figure out where from the East Coast you're from. I said Brooklyn. I said, well, I was born in Brooklyn. He said, yeah, I can see you have that thing about you. And then this meet this artist. He says, yeah, my buddy here is from the Bronx. I said, yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx. I said, I got a lot of friends in the Bronx. Because he said the Bronx, he said he postured up from the Bronx. I was like, yo, I got a lot of friends. And then he laughed. And I was like, yo, I said, we're in Texas, man. This is neutral territory. I was like, yo, chill. It's crazy. But it's funny. I don't know where you brought that story up, but because Al Mega,
Al,
that's what it was.
Coast. Yeah, big time. Nah, man, but that was fun. Thank you so much, Barney, for coming on and chatting with us about your history, man. Dadder Jokes. Don't forget, guys, Dadder Jokes comes out tomorrow. Yeah. Sign up to the pre-launch page. Pledge to the campaign. It's gonna go on Kickstarter for 30 days, and the book is finished. It's completed. It's done. So you'll get it as soon as the campaign is over. Like you said, crowdfunding and Kickstarters work like pre-launch. I mean, for like pre-orders. It's almost like a pre-order thing. Yeah. Don't forget that. Sammy, you got stuff going on. I got stuff going on. Let's talk a little bit about that. And then
don't forget, we still got the art contest going on. We've got 10 artists already submitted. Fantastic. I'll give you another little run of show real quick. Stop screen. All right. Present. Share screen. Let's do this one more time. Bang. Share the screen. There it is. So here's the run of show. That's by Victor Claudio. This one's by Lou Pons. This one's by Void. This one's by Adriana the Kid. This is by Jason Sooks, Stephen Russell, D. Wayne Doherty, Dan Barlow. Let's see, D. Wayne again, Dan Barlow again. Didia, and I think that's it. Yeah. So, wait, where's the other one? Was that there? I'm missing one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, everything was there. So yeah. So thank you all so far who's submitted to the Draw Duty Art Contest. Again, you have till tonight, midnight, wherever you come from, midnight your time. Making it fair. Midnight your time, you might be somewhere, Bora Bora, whatever. Midnight your time, just send it in. I will announce the winner next week right here on Catch the Craze when we have Craig Whalen, I think it is. He's a return guest. Chris Wagan. He's a return guest. He's coming back on the show to talk about Tights.
Chris. Yeah, Tights. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's going to be coming back talking about Tights next week, and we will be announcing the winner of the the grand prize, which is $100, plus 4 commercials on Catch the Craze podcast, plus a 1-hour interview, plus you get featured in the book with your bio and mugshot and on the website. So, and then everybody walks away with a little something. Everybody gets an interview on Catch the Craze, and you get featured in the book as well. So thank you all. I mean, some fantastic artwork that's been submitted so far.
Yeah,
and
really,
and if you're in Texas in September, come and see me at College Station Comic-Con. I'll be there with Duty, rocking the house, doing what we do. And I'm looking forward to that. And then again, shout out to Collected Comics for a fantastic grand opening and hosting your boy, and to Bleeding Cool for mentioning your boy. So that was pretty cool. bleedingcool.com. And don't forget, A Kid in the Comic issue number 2 is shipped out. So if you are a subscriber, you got it already in the mail. And check your local comic shop. In this, you got a double feature with Duty. You got a comic strip with Duty plus How to Draw Duty in this issue. So that's pretty exciting. What about you, George?
Stuff, dog. Yeah, no, this Saturday, the 19th, I will be at Plastic City Comic-Con. That is going to be in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. That's about 3 hours away from New York here. Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I will be there 10 to 5 p.m. $10 to get in. Kids under 12 are free, and there's free parking. So make sure you head out to Plastic City Comic-Con this weekend. Go to getyourmeds.com, pick up some swag, pick up some of my books, The Adventures of Wonder Duck, Russ 5377. Russ 5377 digitally. You can pick it up at the anyoneworld.com website. Go to anyoneworld.com. Pick up issues 1 and 2. Issue 3 comes out next Wednesday, the 23rd. So make sure you pick that up. And I will be at Baltimore Comic-Con.
Baltimore.
Walking the show. I'll be walking the show with my boy Jonathan Syfax. We'll be out there for the weekend. So check us out there. That's September 8th, 9th, and 10th. So yeah. Man. It's gonna be a good fall. It's been a fun summer, and don't forget to sign up to Duty. There's an Alien in My Toilet issue number 6.
Peekaboo, I see you coming to Kickstarter. The big guns. A lot of new characters in this issue. I mean, I've been drawing like a madman. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited about this. It's a milestone, issue number 6. We're going to end the year with issue 6, and we'll start the new year with issue 7. So I would love for everybody to come along for the ride with this one. It is a fun book. And, thank you everybody out there for the past 2 weekends in a row who came down and picked up Duty at the Denton Comic Expo and at Collected Comics. Yeah, man, lots going on, lots happening. Yeah, so thank you everybody in the audience today. Everybody came out. Yeah. Lots of love. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Absolutely.
With that said, I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking?
Oh,
he described me. He said, I'm the
what? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.